There is another way of looking at retrogression. There are various stages. In the first stage, everything slows down. This is a forward moving planet, and now all of a sudden it is going to appear that it is slowing down. That period has to happen first, and then it appears to move backwards. That is the second stage, and then it has to turn forwards. So before it turns forward, it has to make another stop, and once it turns forward, it got to catch up. So all these various stages will happen in the next 4.5 months. It first starts with a intense slowing down. Whether you got a retrograde Saturn in your chart, whether you don't have retrograde Saturn in your chart, doesn't matter. The first part is slowing down. So the first couple of weeks in July, there will be a sudden slowdown in whatever things you have been doing. There's going to be a lot of confusion, chaos. That confusion and chaos is in your mind, because suddenly whatever that you're expecting is not moving. Then, as Saturn appears to start moving backwards, this is when things will suddenly reverse. Whatever good becomes bad, whatever bad becomes good. And that also has an end point. So that's when the retrogression actually slows down. And then Saturn appears to recover, to recoil from that retrogression. So in that whole 4.5 months, you're not going to suffer. If you're going to suffer through that, retrogression, you're not going to suffer through that whole 4.5 months. You're only going to suffer mainly until the retrogression reaches its peak, where that is the maximum distance Saturn can move away from Earth. And then once the Saturn has reached the end point of the orbit, it has to turn around, and then now it's catching up with Earth. So during that catch-up period, things will change again. Whatever slows down now becomes quicker. Whatever that has been going well now slows down again. This is the retrogression. It is a period of confusion. It's a period where you need to exercise a lot of patience, and you got to move very carefully, tactically. If you think suddenly all the blocks have been removed, make use of this retrograde period. Go full on. If it is time to push for your promotion, push for your promotion. Don't think that, I'm going through retrograde, and suddenly I'm getting a promotion. There's something bad about the promotion. No, it was intended. Take it. Go for it. The period of retrogression is also a period for troubleshooting. If things slow down during the retrogression, it is time for you to go back and correct whatever that needs to be corrected. So, for example, you have failed in your examination. This is the time for you to sit down and ponder, where have I gone wrong? What can I do to improve myself? It is not a time for you to completely give up on all your efforts. It's a time for you to think, to realize, to take remedial measures. So when the retrogression is over, that's when you go bang on with all your efforts. And for those who have a retrograde Saturn in their birth chart, and then you find that the annual retrogression is actually a good time for you, suddenly your promotion is coming through, suddenly a project that you've been working on is suddenly, has gained a lot of momentum, things are really looking well. This is the time you blaze the trail, you push yourself and reap the rewards, because then beyond November or middle of November, things are going to take a slowdown again. You don't want to sit down at that time and regret and go like, I should have done it, somewhere during September, October, because I was too tired, or I was too distracted. Now, you are just getting this 4.5 months window to right the wrongs, to go back and correct, to think, to analyze, to strategize. You got to double up your efforts. If you're a student preparing for exams, this is the time that you got to double up your efforts. Especially if Saturn is impacting areas of education, for example. You may have been this star student who just studies once, goes through a chapter once, and then you know what is it. You just close your eyes and then everything just comes to you. But during the retrogression, it may not be that way. You have to double, you have to triple your efforts. You got to study again and again. You may get forgetful. So, ladies and gentlemen, Saturn is going to turn retrograde from the 30th of June. You need to act now. If your natal chart shows Saturn is not retrograde, you got to start acting now in those areas affected by Saturn. There has to be a preparation. You're going to start hearing a lot of predictions about the retrograde Saturn. Always look it up from the perspective of your Lagna and also your Rashi. So for example, if your Lagna is Aries, you're going to listen to the predictions for Aries. And if your Rashi is Libra, you're also going to listen to the predictions for Libra. And then you try to connect the two. That's how you try to understand what's going to happen to you with all these predictions. This is very general. Of course, you got to see a proper astrologer if you want to know what is exactly in store for you. And remember one more thing, the period of retrogression is a period for remedy, troubleshooting. It is not a time where you give up. No, that's not the meaning of retrogression. Good luck.